This is the accusation. They're throwing around the word treason.
I hate to say this, but President Barack Obama, there is now incontrovertible evidence that he was the spearhead of a seditious conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people and overthrow the United States government back in 2016.
They're saying that Obama knew that Russia did not meddle in the election.
Once hailed as the shining face of change and hope, Barack Obama's legacy is now catching fire from every angle. That carefully polished myth that once looked untouchable? It's unraveling in real time, and Joe Rogan, never one to pull punches, has jumped right in with no filter, no patience for the political theater, and no interest in protecting anyone's image. Rogan isn't playing the polite game. He slices straight through the charm, the speeches, the picture-perfect stagecraft, and exposes a presidency packed with contradictions. Those smooth campaign promises that once electrified millions, they've aged worse than a carton of milk, forgotten in the back of the fridge. What once felt like gold now feels hollow. The shine is peeling away, layer by layer, and what's left underneath doesn't look like the legend that was sold. Obama's story, carefully wrapped and marketed, is finally cracking wide open. He struts through history like a man who discovered his own Wikipedia page and refreshes it daily like it's his side hustle. But here's the kicker. Every edit makes it less like history and more like a fantasy novel written by his PR team. And Joe Rogan? He doesn't need a warm-up round. He came in swinging, haymakers from the first second, like a guy who just realized the emperor isn't just naked. He's auctioning off his old suits on Netflix. The Obama myth has been buffed and polished so many times, it shines like a mirror. Hope, change, unity. Those slogans that once stirred crowds now hit like recycled memes from 2008, and Rogan's not falling for any of it. To him, this isn't critique. It's a takedown dressed in a grin. Behind the calm voice, the professor-like hand gestures, the hammock energy coolness, Rogan sees the truth. A president who dodged accountability like a pro, pulled strings from the shadows and still floats above it all as if untouchable. A guru with a drone strike remote in one hand and a Nobel Prize tucked into the other pocket. For 8 years, Obama played philosopher king. He delivered speeches with the tone of a monk and the calm of a professor sipping tea. But Rogan? He never bought the act. He wasn't hypnotized by the cool delivery. He saw the presidency for what it was, slick moves that left magicians scratching their heads. Cool is only cool until you start using it as a shield to block outrage while you run the show from behind the curtain.
Stage.
No. He gets a glass of Flint tap water, and I swear to God, he drinks it like this. Watch this.
Can I get some water? I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
You're doing something isn't a stunt. You have to. It's
100% a stunt. When was the last time a president stopped a speech to ask, "Can I get a glass of water?" They would never do that. They would have water ready.
And hey, before we dive deeper into this breakdown, let me pause right here. If you're into this kind of raw, unfiltered analysis, do yourself a favor. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and smash subscribe right now. Join the crew here at US Today News, because we don't spin, we don't sugarcoat, and we don't bow to the script. We expose it. Now let's get back to it. When it came to foreign policy, Obama didn't just make decisions, he put on a show. He spoke of peace with monk-like calm, all while launching more drone strikes than a gaming tournament final. He smiled like a Nobel laureate while dropping missiles like a guy lighting fireworks at a backyard party. Rogan didn't even need to dig for dirt. The list of countries bombed rolled off his tongue like reading receipts from a shopping spree. That Nobel Peace Prize suddenly looked less like an honor and more like a thanks for showing up ribbon at the Global Intervention Olympics.
Obama did it, where he repeated that lie about Donald Trump talking about white supremacists, saying they're very fine people on both sides. Let's play it.
Said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally.
You had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
That's crazy. I have never seen.
And then there was the NSA. Under Obama, the government spied on its own citizens like it was auditioning for Big Brother, Constitution Crackdown Edition. Wiretaps, surveillance, mass data collection. It was all happening while Obama stood at the podium preaching liberty and transparency. Rogan shredded the illusion like a magician exposing the hidden lever. Transparency, in Obama's version of America, meant everyone else was visible while he stayed hidden. Then there's the press. Oh, the media adored him. They didn't just cover Obama, they worshipped him. Reporters became fan club members. Newsrooms transformed into echo chambers, parroting slogans like background singers at a campaign rally. Rogan laughed at the press. Corpse trailing Obama like unpaid interns at a self-help seminar. It wasn't journalism, it was hero worship on autopilot economics. Obama loved to play the Wall Street conqueror. He painted himself as the savior who tamed the financial beast with spreadsheets and charm. Rogan wasn't fooled. He called it what it was, a giant con job. Bailouts for the bankers, crumbs for the people. The recovery? Real, yes?
Absolutely must hold every one of these criminals accountable for the crimes that they committed. They are the most heinous crimes committed in American history.
But yet promoted this idea.
James Comey, John Brennan, Clapper, Rice, Biden was in the meeting. They briefed Barack Obama on Hillary Clinton's plan to, quote, tie Trump to Russia collusion lies. It consumed our national discourse.
But real for billionaires sipping champagne at brunch. Not for the everyday worker stuck grinding for stagnant wages. The applause lines didn't match the paychecks. And then came the Hollywood glow-up. Obama didn't retire, he rebranded. Documentaries, playlists, narrated history specials. He cast himself as his own narrator. Rogan couldn't stop laughing. Commander-in-Chief became content creator-in-chief. And the irony? The man warning the world about climate change was buying beachfront mansions like the tides were a hoax. His eco-preaching rang hollow when he was living like the waves weren't coming. Rogan nailed it. Obama was like a diet coach scarfing donuts backstage.
Every other president got roasted. And one time, during the White House press correspondence thing, Obama went on stage and he roasted Trump. And one of the lines he said to Trump, he said, "I'm one thing that you'll never be," which is the president of the United States. Because this is when Trump was trying to claim that Obama's from Kenya. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
The birther stuff.
Yeah.
Which is wild. That stuff was wild.
Then came the Russia scandal. Not Trump's, Obama's. In 2016, when Russia interfered with the election, his administration stood there frozen, like librarians who forgot the Wi-Fi password as the entire system crashed. They saw it happening. They knew it was happening. And when the results hit, they acted shocked.
Give me some volume and go full screen.
What you know now, do you wish you had a third term? You know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
We know he wasn't really running the country.
Yeah.
We used to think he was actually running the country, and now they're like, no, he didn't even see those executive orders.
Rogan ripped the silence apart. Obama's cyber defense, a passive-aggressive memo and a shrug. Healthcare, the crown jewel. Promised to be simple, affordable, universal. Reality, a bureaucratic nightmare. A Rubik's Cube so complicated folks needed walkthroughs just to pick a plan. The border, same contradiction. Compassionate speeches from the stage. Cold cages. Behind the scenes. Obama's administration built them, polished them, and then rebranded them with softer headlines.
Our spin to make it all look cleaner.
Surveillance that this government is putting forward is insane.
It is crazy. And remember when Obama was confronted about it? He's like, it's just metadata.
Metadata.
No worries.
Yeah, it's fine. Just trust us.
Just metadata.
Yeah.
We're just collecting metadata. And Snowden's like, no, I was reading people's emails.
Right.
Yeah, we all read emails.
And there was some reporter, I forget her name, like they were deleting, she was on her computer and you could see the file being deleted right in front of her. She took a video with her camera. I think Ed Snowden should be allowed to walk.
Kids in.
Rogan didn't scream. He didn't rant. He just held up the receipts, Gun control? More theater. Tears on camera, speeches full of fire, and then nothing. Rogan spotted the pattern instantly. Emotion up front, inaction backstage. Deep feeling, zero follow-through. Classic Obama. And the personality cult? That might be the wildest part.
Repeated that lie.
Why would you place your faith in somebody who instituted a so-called Muslim ban?
I just completely lost respect for Obama when he repeated that lie a few days before the election, knowing it's false.
Who said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally?
This just shows how desperate they were to keep Trump out, which is wild.
Who sat down for pleasantries with Holocaust deniers?
They just felt like this is a tool that we have, and let's use it. Let's just say whatever we...
Obama could tweet about his socks, and the internet would crash under the weight of praise. Some folks treat him like a mashup of Gandhi, Steve Jobs, and a Marvel superhero. Rogan stripped away the mystique. Obama wasn't a philosopher king. He was a brand. Carefully packaged, perfectly lit, wrapped in nostalgia so thick criticism bounced off like rubber bullets. Transparency? Forget it. Obama promised the most open government ever, then cracked down on whistleblowers harder than any president before him. Snowden, Assange, and countless names you'll never hear because Obama made sure their files got locked up tight. Transparency for the audience, punishment for the truth-tellers. Rogan laughed at the twisted irony. Even in retirement, Obama can't let go of the stage. He drops vague speeches, Instagram wisdom, and smug one-liners like a wise uncle, no one invited. Rogan wasn't impressed. That wasn't leadership, it was branding. Obama's memoirs? Rogan roasted them as self-love letters, bloated and repetitive, allergic to accountability. He joked that reading them felt like being trapped in a sauna with a motivational speaker who can't stop talking about himself. Sweaty, exhausting, and when it's over, you're more confused than when you started. At the end of the day, Obama's greatest gift wasn't leadership. It was illusion. He was the master of the dramatic pause, the deep stare, the perfectly timed line that sounded powerful but meant nothing. He repackaged failures as inspirational battles. He wasn't a leader. He was a franchise, a political iPhone, sleek, pricey, but less useful with every update. And while America still wrestles with the aftershocks of his decisions, Obama floats above the mess with his trademark smirk and a fresh Netflix contract. Smooth delivery, rough results. Rogan peeled back the polish and revealed the legacy underneath. Fragile, inconsistent, and unlikely to survive under real pressure. The glow is fading. The applause is quieter. The spotlight is drifting. For the first time, the story is being told without the filter. Here's the truth. Charisma doesn't pay the bills, nostalgia doesn't heal wounds, and history doesn't stop to protect a brand. Obama's myth isn't a victory lap. It's a scripted show unraveling at the seams. Joe Rogan didn't just critique him. He roasted him, he held up the receipts, and he forced people to stare into the mirror. And what looked back wasn't a legend. It wasn't an icon. It was a man who perfected the art of looking right while doing wrong. The untouchable era is over. The myth is collapsing thread by thread. And for the first time, the spotlight isn't celebrating the icon. It's exposing the illusion behind the brand. If you're tired of sugar-coated headlines and carefully staged illusions, then join us right here. Hit that subscribe button, smash the bell, drop a comment, and share this with everyone who deserves to see behind the curtain. This is US Today News, where we don't play by the script. We tear it apart. We bring you raw, daily political breakdowns, no spin, no filter. No mercy, the truth doesn't sleep, and neither do we.